Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, today I have good news for you. And that is saying something because often when I'm looking at the news and things, there's not always good news, right? We know most of the time it's bad news, but I love sharing good news with you, and it has to do with Medicare. Now, you may not be on Medicare yet. If you're not 65, you're not on Medicare, but it's coming up for you. So you have to understand how this works as a federal employee, especially for you USPS federal employees. You're going to be forced into the system, and many federal employees are going to be on Medicare to some degree. So you got to understand how it works and understand what it's going to cost you, because it's not free all the time. So long story short, if you're not familiar with Medicare, there's a few different parts. There's part A, B, C, and D are the main types. For you as a federal employee, the only two types that you really have to think about and worry about, because you have FEHB, is A and B. Medicare Part A is free. Medicare Part B is not free. It costs money. Now, every year, most years, the cost of Medicare Part B goes up. And if you are on Medicare or read anything about Medicare, you know in 2022, the cost of Medicare sprung up. It was about 14-15% that it grew, which is massive, massive. Now, we are getting in the numbers potentially for 2023 on how much it's going to rise. And the good news is it may not. It may not rise. It actually may go down. Now, none of this is finalized, so don't, if later in the year when there's more information that comes out, this may change. I'll certainly keep you updated. But I wanted to let you know, hey, some things are changing, right? And the main reason that Medicare jumped up in price back in 2022 at the beginning of the year was because there was a new fancy-dancy Alzheimer drug that came onto the market, and it was extremely expensive, more than $50,000 a year just for that one drug. Extremely expensive. And since then, the cost has dropped in half, and the people that are able to get that drug, the list has gone down a lot as well. So the total cost of Medicare and just being able to provide the needed medical things for the Medicare system, the cost has gone down. And so Medicare is going to pass that on to, of course, you guys, the people on Medicare and the future people on Medicare. And they're going to do that by potentially lowering the cost of Medicare in 2023. Now, what does that mean? Well, that could look like a few different things. First, Medicare does go up every year just because the cost of medical things do go up every year. So maybe those will just cancel each other out and it'll stay the same. Or maybe depending on how big each other is, it may go up just a little bit, or it actually may come down if all these cost savings, of course, overcompensate for any rising in prices that we have seen this year so far. So we'll see how it actually looks, but there is a chance that Medicare premiums could go down, which is unprecedented. We like prices going down. Now, what does that mean for you as a federal employee? Well, what that means is, let's say you're on Social Security, maybe you have a FERS pension, or you will have those things. Well, both those things get cost of living adjustments most of the time. So your pension and your Social Security is going to go up. And if Medicare stays the same, you got a raise. We like raises. Because in the past, sometimes Social Security increases, but Medicare increases enough and just eats that raise right away. And so we love when we get a raise after expenses and there's more money in the system, more money to do the things in your retirement that you love. We love that. So I'll keep you updated as things happen, as the cost of living adjustments and everything is finalized for this next year, how Medicare applies for you as federal employees. I'll keep you updated the entire way. Now, we just created an incredible webinar because I know that as federal employees, there's so many things to think about. Medicare is just one of them, right? There's so many things to think about, and there's so many mistakes. I have watched thousands of federal employees retire, thousands, and I've seen a lot of mistakes, okay? And because I have seen so many mistakes, I really found seven of the biggest and most detrimental mistakes that people make as they are retiring or in the early parts of retirement. So I've created a 100% free webinar that goes over those 7 mistakes and how you can avoid them. Because in reality, I've talked with a lot of federal employees. I've worked with a lot of federal employees, and everyone's making at least 3, 4, and some people are making all 7 of these mistakes. So I don't want that to happen to you, right? So there's a link below. Check out that free webinar. It is going to be extremely helpful just to make sure that your plan is going to be more well-rounded and you do not make these 7 mistakes. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, please put in the comments below. It helps the entire community get better, learn, and grow together. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon.